Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Beautiful night in downtown St. Louis. Cubs and the Cardinals open up a three-game series. The Cubs' magic number to win the division down to 5. And welcome to Cubs baseball here on CSN along with Jim Deshaies. I'm Len Kasper. 20 games to go, 3 weeks left in the regular campaign. The question is, the Cubs are going to clinch. Where will it be? Here this week or back home at Wrigley?
Well, if they sweep this three-game set, they will be popping the champagne here in St. Louis. That would be somewhat ironic, I guess, as you look at the tail of the tape, as you peruse these numbers. The Cardinals have won 7 of the 13 games. Better at Wrigley are the Cardinals than they are at home, and that's pretty much a microcosm of their season. They have really struggled to win here in their home ballpark.
So again, the Cubs would need to win all 3 games here to clinch on Wednesday, and the Cardinals probably aren't too worried about what the Cubs are doing. Is there a half game out of the wild card race right now?
Yeah, and they finish this series. They go on a long 10-day road trip that begins in San Francisco and ends in Chicago. So the Cardinals are up against it right now. The Mets have a very soft schedule the rest of the way.
So we've got a couple of strike throwers coming up tonight. Kyle Hendricks, Mike Leake. Let's focus in first on the Major League ERA leader.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks just continues to dazzle. He's got an ERA of 1.2 something since the middle of June. And we take a look at the numbers on him. On 6+ days of rest this year, he's made 3 starts. He's 3-0 with an 0.96 ERA. Any way you dissect the numbers on Kyle Hendricks this year, they are flat out brilliant. Mike Leake, the veteran right-hander, first year in a Cardinal uniform, has been really good against the Cubs in his career. You'll remember him from his days with the Reds, 9-3 with a 3.24 against Chicago.
Second start for Leake since coming off the disabled list. Cubs and Cardinals, one of the best rivalries in all of sports, and they'll renew it coming up. Game 1 of this set is next.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency. Low fares. Nothing to hide.
Presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. Dexter Fowler gets a hit. Leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. Dexter Fowler gets a hit to start the game. Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Back here in St. Louis, Cubs and Cardinals opening up a 3-game set. And make sure you follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long on CSNChicago.com. Presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich, serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. And Patrick is with us in the booth as we preview this big matchup. A lot of media in the Cubs clubhouse came down from Chicago as the Cubs have a chance to possibly clinch the division here. And with 3 weeks to go in the season, Patrick, I know a lot of people are already looking ahead to the next month.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like playoff hypotheticals have filled pretty much every media session with Joe Madden or the front office or even just talking amongst ourselves. But Jed Hoyer said today that they really haven't seriously discussed any sort of player rosters yet. I mean, sure, we can guess a little bit, but so much is going to depend on those last, 10 days, the, kind of who's hot factor, and also the playoff opponent, which at this point, your guess is as good as mine, that there's no real sense yet. Any sort of maneuvering with the rotation is more just to keep those guys fresh for October. It's not like they're counting down the days to see who's going to start game 1 of an NLDS at Wrigley, but certainly once the Cubs clinch, that's really the only thing we're going to have to talk about. So we'll have to get used to it, find different angles, I guess.
This front office has done such good work. You're starting to hear Jason McLeod, Shiraz Raymond, members of the front office be in conversations with other jobs opening. The Minnesota Twins have to hire a general manager, and it'll be interesting to see if and when Jason McLeod moves on, because he's a very popular guy in the game.
Yeah, without a doubt, Len. I mean, Jed framed it as inevitable that he would eventually get that, kind of baseball operations job of running an entire department for himself. Jed confirmed the Twins have asked for permission to interview McLeod, who's obviously between the Red Sox, Padres, and Chicago has a long track record in scouting and player development, from Dustin Pedroia all the way through, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber. So at this point, word is that the Twins might be looking at kind of that 2-tiered system with a president of baseball operations and a general manager, similar to what they're doing in Chicago. I'm sure McLeod will be conflicted, but kind of the feeling around the Cubs is that at some point he's going to leave to kind of run his own shop.
Right. Always good stuff from our Cubs insider, Patrick Mooney. Again, check him out, CSNChicago.com. Nice weather here in St. Louis, and the Cubs and the Cardinals renew their rivalry coming up on CSN.
Claimed best fans in baseball have dominated the NL Central for years. Last season's playoff exit, courtesy of the Cubs, was a sign of the upcoming change of the guard. Tonight, Cardinals Nation bows down to the inevitable new leaders of the pack.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium. The Cubs and the Cardinals tonight. Cardinals have won 7 of 13 in this season series, but as JD mentioned earlier, they have fared better at Wrigley Field than here. The Cubs have won 4 of the 6 games in this ballpark. The Cardinals 5-2 at Wrigley. So JD, everybody here is saying, well, the Cardinals have this tough road trip coming up. Maybe that'll be good for them to get away from home.
Yeah, that's been very difficult to explain the Cardinals' struggles here in their ballpark, their home ballpark this year. 32-39 here at home. Last year, they were 55-26 here in their home ballpark, tied for the best home record in Major League Baseball. If they finish with a losing record here this year, and they likely will, it'll be the first time that has happened since 1999 and only the fourth time since 1985 they've had a losing record here at Busch Stadium.
So after this series, they will head off to San Francisco, Colorado, and Chicago. That'll be a 10-game trip before they return home to play the Reds and the Pirates to close out the regular season. Time now for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And we promise it's coming.
Fred Bird's got it in his back pocket.
Addison Russell last night with a booming home run in Houston. His 20th of the season, second youngest Cub to have a 20-homer campaign. Ron Santo, when he was 21, the only other Cub 22 or younger to hit 20 in a season. Fourth shortstop to do it. Ernie Banks did it 7 times. Roy Smalley back in 1950. Alex Gonzalez hit 20 in 2003. Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. And yes, Russell is in there. Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo at the top. Zobrist, Russell, and Montero in the middle. Miguel Montero's had a nice road trip. Jason Hayward has really struggled on this particular trip. 0 for 17. Javier Baez had 2 hits and scored twice last night in Houston. And Kyle Hendricks, the pitcher, will bat tonight.
And here are the Cardinals defensively this evening. It's brought to you by Arby's. Hazelbaker gets a start in left. Grichuk center. He's really good out there. Piscotty in right. Peralta, Jerko, Wong, Carpenter, and a little bit of a new look infield for the Cardinals as they continue to deal with some injury problems. They've used 6 different starters at first base this year. Yadier Molina is behind the plate, and the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is the single-digited right-hander Mike Leake, making his 27th start. He's won 9, lost 9, has a 4.61 ERA. Finesse guy, sinks it, cuts it, curveball, slider, and a change. 5-year, $80 million free agent deal to join the Cardinals this season through 2020, plus a club option.
We'll set the umpires. The crew chief Joe West will call balls and strikes tonight. Andy Fletcher is at first, Kerwin Danley at second, and Mark Ripperger over at third. Nice night here in St. Louis.
Lovely night.
Leak to Fowler to get us started, and a fastball at 90 is in for a strike.
Yeah, he's not going to light up the radar gun. A little bit below average velocity. It's about movement, command. He's a strike thrower, boy. He walks very few.
Second start off the DL, the 199th start of his career. He works quickly. The aforementioned weather .75 degrees. Wind does not seem to be much of a factor. Two Fowler taps up along first, foul. 13 trips over the weekend in Houston to the plate. 3 hits, 5 walks.
Yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot with the bat over the last 2-3 weeks. He continues to take his walks. Sees a lot of pitches, works long at bats. Usually when he gets on base, good things happen for the Cubs. I mentioned Leake being a strike thrower. He has the lowest walk rate in the National League. 3.8% of all plate appearances against Leake end up in a free pass. Only Josh Tomlin and Rick Porcello over there in the American League a little bit better.
On the ground to first, that's Matt Carpenter to the bag unassisted for the first out.
And when he's on his game, there'll be a lot of ground balls too. He has the 4th highest ground ball rate in the National League.
Kris Bryant comes in at .299 on the year. Go ahead RBI double in the first inning last night. 2-run homer and a 2-0 win on Friday. He's 3 out of 21 on the road trip, but has made a couple of those hits count big time. And he takes a cutter off the outside corner. '91 wins for the Cubs with 20 games to go. So if I do the math, the Cubs could go 9-11. I don't think they will. I think they'll be better than that, but 9-11 would get them to 100 victories. 2-1. Line shot out into right center for a base hit. Big turn around first. Kris has the first hit of the night.
Good solid line drive single here by Bryant. Stays through that ball nicely.
Cardinals will overshift toward the right side of the infield against Rizzo.
Rizzo with very good numbers against Mike Leake. .343 batting average. A couple of long ones.
Slicing drive to left out of play. Bryant's hit gets him back to the 300 mark. I have not asked KB about it, but I know the answer. He knows his average, and he would love to finish the season with a 3 in front of that batting average. Rizzo would have to get pretty hot. He's at .292.
Yeah, it's amazing. We talk so much about batting average being an overrated statistic, and it is, but it's still it's one of those magic numbers to bat 300. The guy who finishes the year hitting .298 will be lamenting a bad official scores decision or getting robbed by an infielder on a ball that he thought was going to be a base hit.
On the ground could be 2, and it will be a double play. That went 5-6-3 with the shift. Cardinals coming up when we come back to St. Louis. Southwest starting lineup. They had a ton of home runs. They're a station-to-station team. They don't run very much. Wong, Piscotty, and Carpenter at the top. Grichuk, Molina, and Jerko in the middle. Notice no Matt Holliday. He's on the DL. Remember, he's got a broken thumb after getting hit at Wrigley Field. Peralta, Hazelbaker, and Leake, who can really handle the bat.
How about the Cubs defensively, presented by Arby's? Boy, were they good. Last night in Houston, they made a number of sparkling plays. It's Zobrist, Fowler, Hayward in the outfield. Bryant, Russell, Baez, Rizzo, third to first. Miguel Montero behind the plate, and Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Kyle Hendricks, who's been awfully close to perfect for an extended period of time now, making his 27th start, 28th appearance, 14-7, with a major league best 2.07 ERA. League hits 206 against him. He's been tough on both left and righties. 19 consecutive starts allowing 3 or fewer earned runs, 7 straight starts allowing 2 runs or fewer, and on we go.
So Hendricks to Colton Wong. Outside corner and a strike.
Still needs to mark the box that says W against the Cardinals. He has not beaten St. Louis yet. 6 regular season starts, 1 in the postseason.
Starting tonight, the Cubs will face only the National League Central to finish the regular season. Jam shot liner to Chris Bryant for the first down. And this has been a nice season for the Cubs against their own division. I mean, they've been good against everybody. 15-5 against the American League. The only team in this division against whom the Cubs don't have at least 10 wins is the Cardinals. Stephen Piscotty takes ball 1.
Good numbers across the board for Piscotty. Looking for a decent average. Good power numbers.
Two balls, no strikes, and the pitch. That's a call you love to get if you're Kyle Hendricks.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're any pitcher, but especially when you like to work the edges. Ground ball right to Javier Baez. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Muscatine Power and Water in Muscatine, Iowa. Around the world on the Armed Forces Network. And also those viewers watching us tonight on MLB Network.
Hello, everybody. Hendricks, like Leake, a ground ball pitcher. He doesn't have quite the ground ball rate that Leake features. But what has made Kyle Hendricks so good this year is his ability to induce weak contact. Hitters off stride out in front of the changeup. They'll throw that cutter in on their hands, a little sink piece down and away, get him off the end of the barrel.
1 strike on Matt Carpenter. So obviously movement is a part of that, but I would have to think unpredictability would be the other part, right? To upset a hitter's timing.
Yeah, and just in command. He's a pitch maker. You watch him pitch, and I guarantee if you talk to the catchers and say, which Cub pitcher, if you're sitting down there in the bullpen catching, is going to hit the target the highest percentage of the time. I mean, there's a number of candidates, but Hendricks would probably lead the way.
He strikes out Carpenter and has a quick 1-2-3 opening inning. 0-2 pitch. Shifts to the other side of second base. Didn't matter because Carpenter swung and missed as Ben Zobrist takes low. So 2 questions, JD. Why do you think he did it? And do you think that can mess with a hitter who sees it happen right behind the pitcher?
Part B, I think it could mess with the hitter. He said, why is he shifting? Why is he moving now? Is he expecting me to pull here? They're going to throw me an off-speed pitch. They're going to pitch me in. So are they trying to deke him by moving Russell and then throwing a fastball away? Possibly, but I doubt. I'm guessing Addison was just a little bit late moving. I think somebody in the dugout got his attention, said, hey, we just play him over there. Maybe regardless of the count, let's go ahead and move on over there. But that would be next level, wouldn't it? If you're trying to deke a hitter by shifting, by blitzing.
Zobrist to deep right, and it will go into the back of the bullpen, and it's 1-0 Cubs.
Well, it's been a quiet second half for Ben, certainly in the power department. But man, he put a charge in that one. A no-doubter for home run number 15 for Ben Zobrist. There's your Ford home run replay, and it's a 1-0 Cub lead because of the efforts of that fine gentleman.
I love how he just very gently sets the bat down as he goes into his home run trot.
Yeah, as much as the conversation in baseball over the last few years is, let guys have fun, let them express their emotions, the bat flips and all that good stuff. We still appreciate a guy who's like, nah, I've been there before. That's what I get paid to do is hit the baseball, so I'm not going to get too jacked up here.
Russell just got a piece. A reminder, Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. That is Ben's second home run since the All-Star break. He hit 13 in the first half. 1-2, Russell fouls, and he got all of it, 422 feet.
Yeah, the other one in the second half came on August 20th against Jake McGee up in Denver.
Russell comes in with 20 on the year, just off the inside corner, and it's 2-2. First Cubs primary shortstop to have a 20 homer 90 RBI campaign since Ernie Banks in 1960. Only Cub as young as Russell to have a 20 homer season again. Ron Santo hit 23 in 1961. Line shot the other way, and leaving his feet, Piscotty with a nice grab.
Tough break for Russell. Real good swing in the bat, but out number 1 for Leake and the Cardinals. Piscotty able to get a good break on that ball and put it away. Take away a base hit, perhaps extra bases for Madison Russell.
Joe has been getting Montero back into the mix behind the plate. 5 for 11 with a home run on this road trip. Fastball is low.
As you contemplate the postseason roster, Miguel Montero peaking at the right time. It's been a rough go for him this year. Everybody's aware of that. But as you see, much better of late. Good quick short stroke there. Ten out of his last 24 and hitting for some power.
Swing and a miss. He got him.
Cub fans, the best availability for tickets during the final homestand of the regular season would be the Red Series, September 19th through the 21st. Don't miss your chance to catch a game at beautiful Wrigley Field. Visit Cubs.com to get your tickets today.
Well, Jason Hayward Greeted with a lot of booing. I feel like more boos than the first time we were in earlier this season. Strike one on Jason. It has been a rough trip. 0 for 17. Outside for a ball, 1-1. Couple of bounces to the second baseman Wong, and the inning is over. Zobrist led it off with a booming home run, and the Cubs grab the early lead, 1-0 in the second.
He's the current MLB ERA leader, whose rise to prominence and Cy Young contention has helped propel the Cubs pitching staff to new heights. CSN's David Kaplan goes one-on-one with tonight's starter Kyle Hendricks on Inside Look, presented by Cadillac, premiering this Thursday at 11. Must-see TV.
1-0. The Cubs have the lead. Randal Grichuk in the cleanup spot. Got off to a very slow start. Couple of trips to the minors earlier this season. He's got 22 home runs. He has done a lot of damage against Cubs pitching. He's got a 7-game hitting streak against the Cubs. 3 doubles, 4 homers, including his first career grand slam on his 25th birthday at Wrigley back on August 13th.
Cardinals have hit 204 home runs to lead the National League.
Might not ever be able to live this down, but he was taken 1 pick ahead of Mike Trout. Both drafted by the Angels. 2009, Grichuk 24th overall, Trout 25th as he strikes out. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Here's your opportunity to register for the chance to purchase 2016 postseason tickets for potential games to be played at Wrigley Field. Go to Cubs.com/postseason to register and learn more about this postseason ticket purchase opportunity. The Cubs will conduct random drawings from among eligible fans who successfully complete the registration form. Big hand for Yadier Molina.
Looks like Yadi sporting a little bit of a shiner there.
Not an all-star for the first time since 2008. He leads all catchers in hits, doubles, and innings caught. 3 balls, no strikes. And he walked him. Cardinals have their first base runner. Now Jed Jerko. He leads their team with 26 homers. And he leads the National League with 19 since the break. He's playing short tonight. Aledmys Diaz was activated off the DL yesterday, but has not yet cracked the lineup since he returned. See Montero looking into his dugout. And the 0-1, double play chance. 6-4 to 3 to end the inning. After 2, it's the Cubs 1 and the Cardinals nothing. Our Xfinity high-speed action. It's fun to watch Javier Baez do just about everything. Second inning, on with a single. Check that third inning, on with a single. Tags from first on that fly ball to right. Nearly got doubled off here, but a Gurriel throwing error allowed him to get to third, and then he scored on a wild pitch. Actually, I was right. It was the second. He scored in both the second and third, but that was an adventurous trip in that 2-run second. The Cubs at one point last night led 9-0.
And made a lot of noise early, and then the Astros started to chip away a little bit.
Key inning in that game was the bottom of the 6th. We found out afterward that Jake Arrieta was under the weather. He kind of gutted it out for 5 1/3, but Justin Grimm to get out of that inning with only 2 runs allowed. Did not let the Astros get back in the game.
Had bases loaded, the Astros did. A couple dangerous hitters up. There you go. Here goes again, another Javi adventure.
So from the 8th spot, leadoff single, and now Kyle Hendricks.
And Leake will give up some hits. He gives up a high batting average. I mentioned he doesn't walk many. So he's willing to challenge a big part of the zone to give up some hits to try to get quick outs. Then he's trying to get ground ball double plays. If he can minimize slugging, that's when he's going to be at his best, obviously. This is a bunt situation for Hendricks, but as we've seen time and time again with Joe Madden, maybe not so much.
Bunts foul. Both these pitchers originally from Southern California. Leake went directly to the major leagues. Reds took him 8th overall in 09 out of Arizona State.
Is that why he wears number 8?
I don't know.
Let's run with it.
Rare to see a pitcher with a single digit.
He and Carl Edwards. Now the bunt becomes a play just to make sure you stay out of a double play.
And he strikes out.
Cub fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Yadier Molina, believe it or not, has been below average this year in throwing out base stealers. 51 stolen, 15 caught when Molina behind the plate. 23% caught stealing rate, league average around 27. Does it mean his skills are diminishing? I can't say that conclusively. Maybe the pitchers aren't giving him much of a chance.
Baez was barely off the bag when Leake made that throw.
Yeah, you would think with Leake being a ground ball pitcher, an extreme ground ball pitcher, at some point in this at bat, there'd be some kind of a play on, straight steal, a little run and hit and run. Didn't have to be.
Cardinals are at the point where they might want to scoreboard watch a little bit, and if they did take a peek out in right field, they'd notice the Mets are down big tonight in Washington. 4th inning, 8-1 Nationals. Ground ball and through. Baez will make the turn and he'll get to third.
And a good hard base running here by Baez. He has to hesitate a little bit to let this ball get by. Very close to hitting him. So he has to slam on the brakes, reverse field just a little bit, let that ball get through. Still able to push his way to third base. And quick look over his shoulder to assess the situation. Says, yeah, I can do this.
So 1st and 3rd with 1 out for Bryant. Carpenter holds on Fowler. Cardinals a half a game behind the Mets for that second wild card position.
And the Mets, they have this series with the Nationals, and then after that, it's very soft for them the rest of the way. I mean, baseball being baseball, you never know. Bad teams get hot, run into some good pitching. Anything's possible, but you have to like their chances when you look at the schedule.
One strike on Bryant.
He
jammed him with a changeup. And that stung.
You saw Molina hop over inside, so yeah, they wanted to go in with the changeup, but I doubt that they wanted to elevate with the changeup.
Swing and a miss. Big second out for Leake.
That's a slider. Let me see Bryant expand that much very often.
Yeah, it'd be fair to call Mike Leake a 5-pitch pitcher. You often hear he's a 4-pitch guy. And with the sinker, cutter, changeup, got both breaking balls. I don't know if it's quite kitchen sink. Do you have to have a knuckleball to be kitchen sink?
No, I think you can be kitchen sink without a knuckleball.
I guess if you had a knuckleball plus all those pitches, it would be kitchen sink and dishwasher.
I think you should write an essay for the next Sabre meeting. What defines a kitchen sink pitcher? A percentage of the breakdown of fastballs and breaking pitches, and how many different varieties of each you need to have to be qualified to be a kitchen sink pitcher.
Well, I would start by saying like a minimum of 5 different pitches, and you'd have to throw your fastball less than 50% of the time, right? 1-1, muscled out into right and down for a base hit. Baez scores. Fowler to third. It's 2-0. Anthony Rizzo now 2 RBIs away from 100 on the season. Got 98.
A little redemption for Anthony. He came into this game, as we mentioned last time, up that he had very good numbers against Mike Leake, but he grounded into a double play in the first. This time he gets a ball elevated there up above the belly button. Whacks it into right field. Cubs go first to third again.
So they've got 5 hits already off Leake. Now Zobrist, whose 420-foot-plus home run in the second was his longest of the year.
I think you could be a 4-pitch pitcher and change arm angles and also be a kitchen sink guy.
Oh, I like that. Yep. Here's the home run that gave the Cubs the lead.
You see where Molina was set up. You saw where the pitch ended up. Well, on 2 occasions, where it ended up in the strike zone, and then ultimately where it ended up out there in the Cardinal bullpen. A misfire by Leake, crushed by Zobrist.
That one hit hard on the ground, but right to Carpenter and right to the bag to end the inning. 3 hits, including the RBI single by Rizzo. It's 2-0. If the Cubs sweep this series, they win the division. Hey, follow In Game Live on CSNChicago.com, presented by State Farm. Johnny Peralta to lead it off. Cracked his bat as he bounced to Baez. A little bobble. Still time to get him.
Funny, if you've watched enough baseball, you see a ball come off the bat and you just know there's a little troublesome hop headed somebody's way, and that one had trouble written all over it. But after the mishandle, Baez able to recover in time to get Peralta, who does not run particularly well.
Now Jeremy Hazelbaker playing left. Referenced Matt Holliday. He's on the DL. He's got a broken thumb. Brandon Moss has been slumping. Cardinals are an interesting club when you look at their position players. They've got a lot of moving parts, and I haven't asked Mike Matheny, but there might be certain nights where it's tough to figure out which 8 guys he's going to start, right? No Aledmys Diaz tonight. No Matt Adams. No Brandon Moss.
Well, he's been leaning on Moss heavily. Hit for a lot of power, but he's in this deep funk, so I think he decided finally to pull the plug on him and give him a day or two off.
Now the pitcher, Leake. Well, Joe Maddon usually has one big decision to make on a night-to-night basis. Tonight it was Baez or Coghlan, right? Because Chris Coghlan has these sparkling numbers against Mike Leake. And it's hard to take Baez's glove out of the lineup.
Yeah, and with Hendricks pitching, he really likes Baez second, Russell short. A lot of ground balls through the middle of the diamond when Kyle's on the mound.
Leake can hit. Among active pitchers, only Zach Greinke has a higher career batting average. Leake at .205 lifetime.
Yeah, he can pinch hit. He can pinch run. He's got a little Travis Wood in his game.
And at one time, those guys were teammates. Hendricks to first. An 8-pitch 1-2-3 third for Kyle Hendricks. 2-0 Cubs. Cub Ryan Sandberg's favorite restaurant in Chicago is the legendary Harry Caray's Italian Steakhouse. Go where Rhino goes for the best prime steaks in River North, Rosemont, or Lombard. Call 773 Holy Cow or visit harrycareys.com. Cubs try to add to their lead as Addison Russell takes a strike from Mike Leake.
For those of you who are sabermetrically inclined, Addison Russell has accumulated 4.6 wins above replacement. That ranks 8th in the National League.
And I'm guessing, I haven't looked in the last couple of weeks, but maybe half that value comes from his defense.
2.5. He ranks 1st in the National League in defensive wins above replacement. He has moved ahead of Brandon Crawford.
Theoretically, that'll be a good battle for the Gold Glove. Although, as we've discussed before, the incumbent always
That's like
seems to
Congress.
have a slight advantage.
Yeah. You got to knock out the champ or have him get traded to the American League like Andrelton Simmons.
Three and two, Montero next. Foul back our way. 22nd career start for Mike Leake against the Cubs. And ball 4.
This Friday, it's the 16th of September, and the Cubs play the Brewers. First pitch is at 1:20, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans receive a Kyle Schwarber home run bobblehead presented by Comcast Sports Net. For more information, visit Cubs.com. There's Schwarbs. He's looking pretty good.
Cubs have had at least one base runner in every inning, and Russell nearly got picked off. I don't know how he got back, but he did.
I think Carpenter missed him. Still taking a very aggressive lead.
Yeah, the throw beat him. You're right. That's a strike.
He's drifting. He's in peril. And Carpenter reaches beyond his right arm and trying to apply that tag.
Soft liner to Jerko, and Russell easily back to first.
It's funny, before replay, in a situation like that, first baseman would just take the ball and sweep it real quick through the zone and just throw it around the horn and say, we got our guy, and the call would be out in all likelihood and move on. Now with replay, guys have to be much more diligent about trying to actually apply the tag. In that instance, it appeared that Carpenter missed, and the Cardinals clearly agreed because they didn't challenge.
Hayward with one out. Well, this could be 2. 4 to 6 to 3, and the inning is over. Midway in the 4th, Cubs 2, Cardinals 0. Lance Briggs Show tomorrow night on CSN. Here from the 7-time Pro Bowlers. He shares his thoughts on yesterday's setback in Houston and previews the home opener against the Eagles. The Lance Briggs Show tomorrow night at 11 on CSN Chicago.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend in Houston with the Cubs there and the Bears in town as well. Many Chicagoans made the pilgrimage to Houston. Apparently there was some bet between the mayors. Were you aware of this?
I heard about it. I have no idea what the bet was.
I think it was, a food bet, deep dish pizza for barbecue or something. But the football game was awarded 2 points of value, and then each of the baseball games 1 point of value. So Houston won by virtue of winning the football game, won the bet 3-2.
That doesn't seem right. Football counts more than baseball? Come on. Swing and a miss by Colton Wong.
So if it was just games, it would have been 2-2. So it would have to come up with a tiebreaker.
Well, when the Blackhawks play the Arrows, didn't Gordie Howe play for the Arrows?
Yeah, he did.
Called strike 3. Wong almost called that pitch for Joe West.
Yeah, I'm guessing there was some kind of a vocal signal from Joe, because we didn't see any movement, but Wong was, he knew his goose was cooked. And then Big Joe punched him out.
Now Piscotty, one base runner allowed by Kyle. That was the Molina walk in the second.
Year by year, Kyle Hendricks versus right-handed batters. 2014, they had 247 against him. Last year, 225. This year, $192.
Well, that's a line drive to Fowler, but he didn't really square it up.
Nope, leaning a little bit. This Sunday, it would be the 18th of September, and the Cubs will be finishing up their series with the Brewers. Up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans will receive a Cubs picnic blanket presented by Jewel Osco. After the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger will have the opportunity to run the bases, weather permitting. For more information, visit Cubs.com/kids. And those kids who are not permitted to run the bases, your parents promise to take you out for ice cream.
One strike on Carpenter. An all-star this year for the third time. That was injured and did not play.
It's a little different look on that curveball from Kyle. A little lower arm angle. Sometimes his curveball is just a get over loopy pitch. That time threw it hard down below the swing of Carpenter. So many tricks in this guy's bag.
Yeah.
He was so resourceful.
.5-0 with a 130 over his last 7 starts. Past Hendricks. Bryant is there, off balance throw. He got him. Hendricks has not given up a hit through 4, and he's got a 2-0 lead.
He joined legendary Bear Brian Urlacher for the premiere of his brand new show, The Hard Count. Tune in to hear number 54's take on what the Bears will have to do to win in week 2 against the Eagles and much more. The Hard Count, presented by Restore, premieres Thursday night at 10:30 on CSN Chicago.
I like how you ended that with a lot of flair.
Yeah,
Chicago 1-0 on Baez. Leadoff single and a run in the 3rd.
If you weren't having good at-bats, you weren't getting base runners on against Leake, you would be inclined to step out, try to upset his rhythm a little bit, but that really hasn't been the case here tonight for the Cubs. Got 5 hits already in the ball game. Pushed a couple runs across home plate. Ooh.
Two and two. I think was it last night or Saturday? Had a little hip discomfort during one of his at bats. And was able to stay in. Ground ball to short. Jerko can't get him. Baez really busted it out of the box. Jerko a bit flat-footed as he fielded that ground ball. And it's an error on Jerko.
Yep. Got him to roll over on that slider off the plate, but it gets him a nice break out of the box, so he sells out going down the line. And indeed, Jerko maybe lays back a little too much, then has to hurry the throw. Said throw errant. Leadoff man reaches. 10th error for Jerko.
That's one where you wish you could kind of give like a half an error and a half a hit.
Reward the
hustle.
effort. Yeah. Or I guess we could come up with a new category, forced errors.
Sure.
Because what we need in this game is more numbers.
Well, they do have the stat reached on error, and a lot of times it's fast guys who cause infielders to hurry it up and possibly causes mistakes.
Wreak a little havoc.
Bunted by Hendricks. This time he gets it down. He failed his last time. That will go 1-3.
That was a dandy. On Wednesday the 21st, the Cubs welcome students, alumni, and fans of the Big Ten. Fans who buy tickets through the special group nights page will receive a special edition Cubs scarf in their favorite Big Ten schools colors. Also, one lucky individual will get a chance to throw out a ceremonial pitch. For more information, visit Cubs.com/special group nights.
Strike called on Dexter Fowler. All right, I got a question for you, and it's been a few days since we've been on together, so you know me. I come up with weird questions. Leaks 0-1. Towering shot to right, and it will get way out of here. 2-run homer.
Oh, baby. Wow. Jeepa. Low 5 for Gary Jones. A high home run for Dexter Fowler.
That was loud.
Leak, a guy who we talk about him throwing strikes, but sometimes it's the quality of the strikes that makes the difference. He made that mistake earlier to Zobrist. Here's another one to Fowler. This ball absolutely crushed. There's your forward home run replay for the second time tonight. The Cubs go deep.
Bryant takes a strike. 4-0. So I see the A's are in Kansas City tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the A's play at Kansas City every year. They've been in the same league forever. Is there an older fan who lives in Kansas City and goes to Kauffman Stadium and still roots for the A's. Since they moved to Oakland from Kansas City in 1968.
Yeah.
And I guess that's top of mind because the LA Rams make their debut tonight in San Francisco, and I was asking people if some fans here in St. Louis would have an interest in that game.
So yeah, what is the, how long will a fan maintain his fandom, his or her fandom, after the team leaves town? See, I don't know that the Athletics did a whole lot while they're in Kansas City to get people excited other than play there.
They didn't.
But there, yeah, I'm sure there are a few. The Kansas City club back in the day, they were referred to as a minor league team to the Yankees. The Yankees used to raid all their good players.
Full count on Chris Bryant. Okay, so it wasn't that weird a question.
No, but I think now the challenge is it's just to identify said fans.
A little bit off the end of the bat. Hazelbaker makes a catch.
That'll be your mission. The next time we go to Kansas City in interleague play, we will go in pursuit. Take a camera crew and we'll roam around the city looking for Athletic fans. Roger Maris was a Kansas City Athletic before becoming a Yankee.
Wasn't Hawk Harrelson? I could be wrong. I feel like I've seen Hawk in a Kansas City A's uniform on a baseball card.
Yeah, Hawk started there. He wasn't a Yankee though.
No, but he was right. He was an Athletic.
Yeah, I think he got into it with Charlie Finley, didn't he? Wasn't there some story to Hawk and Finley had a dust up?
2-1 on Rizzo. Line shot the other way. Hazelbaker to end the inning. Cubs have homered twice tonight, and in both cases they got all of them. Zobrist in the second and Fowler in the fifth, right down the middle of the fairway. 4-0. Bottom of the 5th. Ball one on Randal Grichuk. Swing and a miss. Just got a tweet from a fan named Josie. It says, my 82-year-old father-in-law from Chicago still cheers for the football Cardinals. Following them from Chicago to St. Louis and now to Arizona. Now that is loyalty.
Yeah, I think there are still plenty of Expo fans who follow the Nationals. That's, you know, much more recent than the other examples we've talked about.
Then you also, I'm sure, have some fans who root against the team they grew up rooting for if they move away. I think there are probably a lot of Rams fans who feel that way. As Grichuk strikes out, one away.
We're witnessing another masterful performance here by Hendricks. This is just incredible night after night. I just love watching this guy pitch. He's on me threw a couple of little elevated cut fastball away to Grichuk. It's throwing 89, which is probably a little something extra for Kyle. Usually he's 87, 88. And then that put away changeup for strike 3. Just a beautiful pitch. Those who would discount his Cy Young candidacy because of the expectation coming into this season, because he's not a huge strikeout guy and he doesn't throw 95 miles per hour, the more you watch this guy pitch, the more you become convinced how good he really is.
Well, the other one for me, in terms of Kyle's candidacy, is just he hasn't had a clunker. That'll hold up for Ben Zobrist.
Yeah, and just look at the results of his at bats against here tonight. I mean, that's what this game boils down to, right? Mano a mano, pitcher versus hitter. He's winning every battle pretty much. He's striking guys out or he's inducing weak contact. There's been a couple balls hit hard, kind of.
Jerko hit into a double play in the second, and he will not do that this time because there are already 2 outs. So updated ERA leaders, and Kyle has almost a half a run lead on Noah Syndergaard. John Lester right behind him. Jerko, the former San Diego Padre. And the 2-1. Hit in the air to center. And right near the cutout of that arch. Fowler makes the catch as Hendricks is no-hitting the Cardinals through 5. when you can fly NJet. NJet, Chicagoland's choice in jet charter service. Just drive up and take off. For a quote, visit n-jet.com or call 888-FLY-NJET. Leak deals to Ben Zobrist and a strike. Pulled deep and foul to right. 6th inning. Cubs lead 4-0. I don't know if you have any friends who own airplanes. I've met some people who own airplanes, but I don't claim to have any close personal friends. Swing and a miss. Good changeup. One away. The other night in Houston, a group of about 4 or 5 Cub fans, they said that one guy pointed at the other guy and said, well, he has a plane and he flew us down here for the series. And jokingly I said, well, how many planes do you own? I have 3. And he said, I have 2. I said, okay, I was kidding. I don't own any. He was dead serious.
Yeah, no, I had a friend who owned a jet, a plane, a very nice one. I had an uncle that was a kind of a flyer. He had a little, puddle jumper kind of thing. It's more of a hobby plane, not a big golf wing or anything like that. Got another buddy who's into aviation who owns part of a plane.
Like a wing or?
Well, he's a fractional ownership with other people.
Okay. Yeah, on the left wing.
Yep, I got a left wing.
Saving up for a cockpit. Molina will not have a play.
The Cubs are introducing a game-changing new premier experience at Wrigley Field with seats featuring prime views and access to an exclusive club. This will allow fans to enjoy Cubs baseball in a whole new way. Visit CubsPremier.com to join the Premier Client Priority List. You don't even have to own a plane.
Two popped up. Foul territory. It's Peralta. Julie Tynan watching in Manhattan, rooting on the Cubs tonight. Sue Lackey in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Bounce to Wong. Little underhand flip to Carpenter. And that ends the inning. Kyle Hendricks back to work in the bottom of the 6th, leading 4-0.
Well, let's check in with Kyle Hendricks here tonight, who's been dazzling yet again. Swing and a miss from Carpenter. There's that good changeup to get Grichuk. Ground ball double play to the shortstop. A lot of weak contact, swings and misses. Very few pitches over the fat part of the plate. Wong gets caught looking. Induces the fly ball from Jerko. Kyle Hendricks dealing. 5 innings, no hits, no runs, a walk, 5 punch outs as he gets set to work to the bottom of the order.
Curveball just missed the inside corner on Johnny Peralta. Peralta has had an injury-plagued season. A troublesome left thumb has put him on the DL twice.
Focus a little bit on that grid we put up, our pitch tracks over the course of the night, and how few pitches you'll see in the middle of that zone.
Gets the call there, 2-2. It's like how John Lester prefers to work when he's at his best. He works the edges. Hooked foul on the ground past third.
It's no Warren Spahns approach. Strikes are overrated. As close to the plate but as far away from the barrel as possible was his philosophy.
Former Cub Miguel Sokolovich, a right-hander, up. Song-Hwan Oh, their closer, probably not available tonight. He's been day-to-day with a groin issue. Toward the hole. Nice play, Russell. He's got time. He got him.
Oh my. Oh my. Look at the look on the face of Peralta. This ball is fairly sharply hit, but Russell's on it in no time.
You know what I'm thinking when that ball's hit? It's an out, right?
Well, that's,
the way Russell plays.
Yeah, right. He doesn't surprise us much anymore, does he?
That is a terrific play, and one he makes all the time. Remember that one. Hazelbaker, skies to right. Hayward trying to find some room, and he caught it. He caught it. Oh, what a play by Hayward. 2 down.
Yeah, as we mentioned at the start of the ball game that the Cubs made a number of outstanding defensive plays last night. Here they go again. First Russell, now Hayward leaping into the stands, and watch Baez come in. This is like a football player who's got possession of the fumbled football. He's going to push this fan off to make sure that Hayward's glove comes out with the baseball in it. Great concentration by the big fella. Watch Clark there, number 15. He's trying to take it away. He's like, no, sir.
Aledmys Diaz will bat for Mike Leake. Well, you worry more about their pinch hitters than you do their starters. They have put together an amazing year collectively as a team in terms of their pinch hitting.
Yeah, it's been crazy. 15 pinch hit home runs they have hit.
Broken bat roller. Baez. Inning over. No through 6 for Hendricks. USAA honors those who have served. and all of our service members at home and abroad.
On his car. How about that? Joe is raffling off his signature vehicle for charity. Raffle tickets are $100 each and are available at fan services during all remaining home games or by stopping by 3721 North Clark Street. Full details are available at Cubs.com/Joe's Raffle. It's not like winning John Voight's car, but it's still pretty darn good.
Miguel Sokolovich here in the 7th.
8 games at the big league level this year. 1-0 with a .360. He was 2-6 with a 3.14 ERA. 45 appearances down at AAA.
Hayward out into right center. On the move, Grichuk, and a diving grab. Wow, we've seen some defense here in the last 10 minutes or so, and a tip of the cap from Hayward to his former teammate.
Yeah, and off the bat, it looked like it'd be extra bases. The ball got a little backspin and hangs up a little bit, and a brilliant play by Grichuk, who we've seen make a number of spectacular plays out there in center field this year. Just a beautiful play. Big league players making big league plays, and there's a little acknowledgement from Jason. I'm either going to tip my hat or I'm going to run out there and put you in a headlock.
Baez the batter. Ball one low. Have you figured out how many guys they have available in their bullpen? Probably worth doing every time we see a new team here in September.
Yeah, well, if just in terms of the names, there's 3 lefties, 8 right-handers on the card tonight. Seems to be a rising tide of opposition to the expanded rosters, or at least the availability of so many players on a daily basis. We'll see if it gets addressed at all in the next collective bargaining agreement,
which will be after this season. Baez in the air. Much easier play for Grichuk this time. 2 away. It'll bring up Kyle Hendricks in our PNC Cubs upcoming schedule. Another night game tomorrow. Getaway day matinee on Wednesday, and then back home for a nice long stretch. Final homestand of the regular season. We'll have Thursday's game right here on CSN Friday afternoon as well. What do you think of Dave Roberts the other night, pulling another pitcher working on history?
Yeah, 7 perfect innings for Rich Hill. He had thrown 89 pitches. I'm sure what Dave thought, well, if I send him back out there for the 8th and he's got it through 8, I've got to run him back out there for the 9th. But given his injury history and the overall injury history of their club this year, it certainly is understandable. There's arguments to be made on both sides. Yeah, the guy had a shot at history. You hate to take that away from a player, but given who the player was and the fact that he's had these blister issues and other physical issues, you can certainly understand Robert's thinking.
That's low. The counter would be, Rich Hill is a veteran guy. You don't feel like you have to protect him as much as a kid, but I think it's more about the team, right? Because
right, if
the Dodgers were out of it, let him go.
Right, or if they had a commanding lead where you say, okay, we're going to push you, and if you end up throwing 125 pitches, we won't start you again for 8 days. But they're not in that position. The Giants are just 3 games behind them.
Sometimes arguments about decisions like that become counterintuitive because so many people are about the team. Got to be about the team, and then when a decision's made that is for the team, then fans go, well, wait a minute.
We had a chance to witness history. Yeah.
4-0 Cubs. Don't go anywhere. With MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Get MLB.com at bat on your favorite devices now. Long rolls foul.
Since June 19th, Kyle 10-1 with a 1.28 earned run average. The action on his curveball has been sharper here tonight. He hasn't thrown a lot of them, but a little tighter rotation, a little sharper bite on the curveball. Yeah, and we were talking earlier about, you know, comparing Kyle to some of the other front-running candidates for the Cy Young Award. Doesn't have the credentials in terms of his resume or the big arm, but, you know, but he strikes out better than league average. Walk rate is better than league average. Coming into this game, just a .206 batting average against. There are those that argue that, well, he's a pitch-to-contact guy, and the Cubs are really good defensively. So it's not just, you know, it's not just him, but I would argue part of the reason why the Cubs' defensive numbers are so good is because of guys like Hendricks who induce so much weak contact. Balls in play are turned into outs.
Well, the combo of that weak contact and the Cubs' stellar defense has been a great combination, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's goes hand in hand. Oh, there's a weak ground ball.
Rizzo to Hendricks.
Just 70 pitches made. He's in great shape.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. Looked like the cut change up. One Cardinal has reached. Molina walked in the second and quickly eliminated on an inning-ending double play ball. Swing and a miss. How about that? Piscotty was late on 89.
He's thinking about that changeup. Yeah, a rare 90-mile-an-hour fastball there. So he's strong tonight with the extra rest.
Ground ball. Bryant's got it. Throw to first. Out. A slight little stumble as Chris tried to get up, but he made the play.
Exhale, breathe, everybody. Woo. Yeah, scary moment here. Sharply hit. Good recovery. 2 outs in the 7th.
Matt Carpenter swings and fouls out of play.
Yeah, he's got Carpenter getting out of his game. Carpenter normally very patient, rarely attacks that first pitch. We saw the last series the Cubs played against the Cardinals. He did it a little bit. And a lot will depend, of course, with Carpenter where he is in the batting order in the game situation. If he's at the top of the order leading off an inning, he'll probably be a little more patient. In this situation, 2 outs, nobody on. He's looking to do damage.
Swing and a miss. He's through 7 and his ERA now is below 2. 4-0 Cubs. hefty home runs. Cubs have hit a couple. Ben Zobrist and Dexter Fowler, both over 400 feet. Fowler's knocked in 2. And the Cubs lead 4-0 as they will bat in the 8th inning. Top of the order here, Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo. If you just tuned us in, Kyle Hendricks has not allowed a hit through 7. 1 base runner, that was a walk in the 2nd inning, and he has faced the minimum. Sokolovich in his 2nd inning of work. $43,397 here at Busch Stadium tonight.
A worthy effort from Mike Leake here tonight. 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. Walked only 1, struck out 4.
So Matt Adams now playing first. So Adams in for Carpenter. Okay.
Yeah, oh.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. There has never been a no-hitter thrown in this ballpark, which opened in 2006. Bryant on the ground is short. Jerko's got it.
Assuming Carpenter must be hurt a little bit, must have tweaked something.
Yeah, I don't know why he would come out of the game for any other reason. Ground ball to first. Adams to Sokolovich. And the inning is over. Kyle Hendricks in the bottom of the 8th. Stay with us. 4-0 Cubs. Cap, thank you. Grichuk, Molina, Jerko. Here in the bottom of the 8th. Hendricks' first pitch. He is low. In the air to left, fairly deep, but playable for Zobrist, just in front of the warning track. 1 out.
Deep breath, reset, and go get him. At 22 outs on 80 pitches. Just about all of his misses have been down.
Sam Tuivailala out in the Cardinal bullpen. That is a lot of fun to say. Molina swings and misses.
Get into this stage of the game like this, and the hitters get a little more swing happy early. Pitchers establish command of the zone.
Strike 2 called.
And the hitter's mindset shifts from I got to have a good at bat to I got to get a hit. And that thinking generally works against the hitter. One of the guys on his game the way Hendricks is here tonight.
Miguel Montero has caught a couple no-hitters, including Jake Arrieta's last August 30th, 2015 at Dodger Stadium. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's 2 here in the 8th.
Yeah, so now he can start to work out of the zone a little bit more because the Cardinal hitters are clearly a little bit anxious, and he's got a 4-run lead. So even if he gets behind in the count, he doesn't have to give in and throw the pitch over the heart of the plate.
Arrieta has thrown 2 here in the last couple of seasons. Zambrano's in Milwaukee against the Astros. 1-0 on Jed Jerko. Missed again.
Well, this is exactly what I was talking about. 2-0. He doesn't have to give in here to Jerko. He's got a 4-run lead.
And he walked him. First base runner since Molina in the 2nd.
I don't know if Peralta ever hits the ball on the ground to the right side, but I wouldn't have Anthony holding Jerko on here. Just in case. I'd have him off. I'd play him behind him, shadow him a little bit, peel back, cover a little more of the infield.
That's a strike. Swing and a miss.
Beautiful pitch, man. That changeup has been so good tonight.
Gets a sign from Montero. The pitch. At his spot, didn't get the call, but it was close.
Boy, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He shook twice to get to that pitch. There's no hesitation from Hendricks right now. He's absolutely locked in. as to what he wants to do with each pitch.
Popped him up. Baez and Rizzo in foul territory, and it's Baez to end the 8th. No flipping, no flipping. We go to the 9th.
Tom's getting sweaty yet?
Well, Jake Arrieta, look at those eyes. Cincinnati back on April 21st. With his second no-hitter. First one was in late August of last year. Pretty neat moment. David Ross in his final season in the big leagues got to catch history. And everybody's staying away from Kyle Hendricks now. And there is a sense of anticipation in the air here in this ballpark. Whatever various fans are rooting for. Waiting for what will be an eventful bottom of the 9th. But first things first, Sam Tuivailala will face Ben Zobrist here in the top of the 9th.
Tuivailala follows Sokolovic. Just need to get Zrinzi to get these three guys together and we'll have a spelling bee.
Zobrist to the opposite way. Hazel Baker picks it up. Ben's got a double.
Good night for Ben. A two-base hit to go with his four-bagger.
One and 0 on Russell. The pitch fouled back. I'll repeat a story that we told in Cincinnati in April. It was 2 years ago. We were in New York playing the Yankees, and Lee Mazzilli, former longtime big league infielder, we were talking with him in the press box. There's a bouncer up the middle that'll get Zobrist to third as Russell's out. And he said he was way more nervous playing defense late in a no-hitter than he was in the World Series.
Yeah, because I think you can convince yourself in a World Series game that it feels like a normal game. There's nothing normal about a guy who's trying to make history and you get this deep.
Mike Matheny's going to make a change. It's a Midas Tire and Auto Service experts call to the pen. We'll be back.
Numbers.
It's a Midas Tire and Auto Service Experts call to the pen. Left-hander Dean Kiekeffer here in the ninth.
Kiekeffer, a rookie, 27 years of age. We're going to work for the Cardinals, but first let's check in and see what we've witnessed from the Cubs defensively here tonight. This is the one. This is the one play that really stands out. Spectacular effort by Russell. Of course, Jason Heyward going into the seats. Not taking away a hit, but obviously a great play. This ball fairly sharply hit. But it's been mostly a one-man show here tonight.
Infield in, and Miguel Montero takes a strike. By the way, we will not go to break after the top of this ninth inning. Cubs try to add to their lead. Runner at third, one out. Missed inside, and Montero held up. By the way, Lee Mazzilli played more outfield than first base on his 14-year career and participated in one World Series with the Mets, 1986. Ground ball, Zobrist holds. Wong to Adams, 2 outs.
Mike Matheny could make this move to the bullpen to bring his lefty in, knowing full well that Joe Madden wasn't going to hit for Montero, who's catching Kyle Hendricks here tonight, or Jason Heyward, who's the Gold Glove outfielder. So Matheny knows he's going to have the advantage, platoon advantage of these two at bats. Joe Madden doesn't really care a whole lot about that. He wants his best defensive team on the field. Probably really doesn't care if Jason makes the third out here without scoring another run, just to keep Hendricks in rhythm.
The only Cub pitcher to no-hit the St. Louis Cardinals was Don Cardwell in his Cub debut at Wrigley Field. May 15th, 1960. That's a strike. Swing and a miss. I always feel like in this type of situation, this is the opening act before the Rolling Stones.
The half inning before the decisive inning.
I mean, you'd love to add on, but you hear that band say, "This will be our final number." Everybody cheer. The Stones are coming up next. He walked him. We'll give Baez a chance.
Kyle's going to have to bat here. I wonder if anybody in the dugout, Davey Martinez, went up to Joe. Hey, do you want to hit for Kyle here? Got a chance to add on.
There's plenty of time for levity in our booth, but I'm not so sure it happens in the dugout.
No, even as loose as that group is at this stage of the proceedings, nope, they are very tense down there.
We will keep it here after the top of the ninth. Swing and a miss. Called strike two.
Don't swing. Just go pitch.
Two and two. Drives this one out into deep right center. It will be run down by Gritchen. That would have scored three. We will keep it here. And let's go back to August 30th, 2015 at Dodger Stadium. The stuff was just dazzling, and here's a final out. Chase Utley. And he struck out the side in that bottom of the ninth.
Jake does it with mid-90s fastballs and that power slider. When you think about his repertoire and his best stuff, with Hendricks, it's more you normally don't talk about a changeup being overpowering, but that's kind of the nature of his changeup. He gets a lot of swings and misses on that pitch. Completely baffles opposing hitters, and off he goes to work the ninth. Pretty good chance by the time this week is over, the Cubs will be the division champs. And what a way it would be to start the week when Mr. Hendricks doing his thing here tonight.
Through 8, 0 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. His earned run average is down to 1.98 on the season.
When he first came to the big leagues, chat with Rick Sutcliffe, and Sut was comparing him to Greg Maddux. And I remember thinking, well, that's probably a little hyperbole. Yeah, he's a finesse guy. I get all that. The more you watch him pitch, now, if you're going to be Greg Maddux, you got to do it for 20 years. But this has been a Greg Maddux-like year this kid is having.
So it's Hazelbaker, the number 8 hitter. Greg Garcia, left-handed batter, is on deck. Here we go. Good start. Curve for a strike.
Probably left the dugout knowing he was going to throw that first pitch breaking ball to Hazelbaker.
Changeup for a strike. A drive to right, and it's gone. Oh, so close. And if you had to bet if the Cardinals were going to get a hit tonight, a home run would probably be what you would bet.
It's just a heartbreaker. 2 strikes. A little bit of a mistake with the changeup. Didn't make his pitch and paid the price. What an effort. What a brilliant performance. He's not done. And now the corner infielders are going to come in and talk a little bit. They're buying some time for the bullpen.
Now, Aroldis Chapman was getting loose when the inning started. Joe West is upset because I think he was telling Joe was telling a couple of his infielders to go out and talk to Kyle, and I think Joe West was saying, no, you can't do that. Wow. So he throws him out. And he's going to let him make the change. How about that?
Yeah, he said that's fine, Joseph. I'm going to go get my guy, Joseph. That's fine. Yeah, so he's just trying to move the proceedings along. He's telling Montero not to go back out.
Well, a standing ovation for Kyle Hendricks as he walks off the field, and even Cardinal fans are clapping as well, and his teammates greet him very warmly in the dugout. And what an effort indeed. We'll be back in a moment. Auto service experts call to the pen, and Aroldis Chapman will try to get the final 3 outs with a 3-run lead now, 4-1. And Joe West and Joe Maddon had another lengthy conversation after Cubs manager took Hendricks out of the game. And again, it looked like the argument was about Joe West telling Joe Maddon it's a trip to the mound if you're sending all these guys out there. But Kyle Hendricks so good tonight. Tommy Pham will hit. I believe Greg Garcia was announced.
A couple of starts ago for John Lester, he took a no-hitter, 6 2/3, and a solo home run broke up his no. This time it comes in the bottom half of the ninth. 0-2. Boy, when he got the jump on Hazelbaker, I thought he was going to finish it off.
Swing and a miss.
So we go from the changeup master Hendricks to the 100+ mile-per-hour offerings of Aroldis Chapman.
Fouled away. 1-2. Chapman has not allowed a run against the St. Louis Cardinals since September 2nd, 2011.
It's pretty good, huh?
I'd say so. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
A little 103 for you, Mr. Pham.
Seven consecutive scoreless appearances against St. Louis. Colton Wong takes a strike. Talked to Aroldis today. Said, what other positions did you play growing up? He said first base. And I said, what was the first time you ever received confirmation that you hit 100 on the radar gun? He said, I was 18. And after kind of laughing it off like it was no big deal, he admitted that it was a wow moment even for him. Now it's old hat. In the air to center. Pretty well hit. Fowler with room. 2 outs. Toast of the game presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. Kyle Hendricks no-hit the Cardinals through 8 tonight. Binny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs.
With 8 consecutive starts allowing 2 runs or fewer, 20 consecutive starts allowing 3 earned or fewer.
To Scotty. Ooh.
A little changeup. Respecting Piscotty's ability to get the fastball. He started him with a slider, and the third offering a changeup.
Swing and a miss.
When push comes to shove.
outside. Before we're done tonight, I want to send out condolences to the friends and family of Fred Horncole, a long-time Cub fan who recently lost his battle with cancer. And the 3-2 pitch is pop foul out of play. Cubs trying to get the magic number down to 3.
Tomorrow, Jason Hamill will pitch for the Cubs. Jaime Garcia for St. Louis. Wednesday afternoon, John Lester, Carlos Martinez. Tough act to follow, boys.
To Scotty held. Andy Fletcher on appeal said he did not swing. It'll be Jose Martinez to pinch hit for Adams.
Welcome to the big leagues kind of moments for a guy like Martinez. Made his debut back on September 6th after 887 career minor league games.
Line drive, center field. Fowler grabs it. Cubs win. Cubs win 4-1. A combined one hitter. The only Cardinal hit was a Jeremy Hazelbaker leadoff homer in the ninth. Kyle Hendricks, the major league ERA leader, currently at 2.03. And if they can win these next two here at Busch Stadium, JD, they'll pop the champagne on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, very well see a clincher here, and what a brilliant performance for Kyle Hendricks. No doubt a little disappointed that he did not get the no-hitter, but sparkling effort here tonight.
They are going to try to